Hello students. Today now going about chapter number 1, reproduction in lower and higher plants. Last video, we are also seen in a structure of the flowers or part of the flowers. The part of the flower mostly three parts. First, pedicels, second it is the thalamus, and third it is the floral walls. Pedicels, it is commonly known as the stalk of the flowers. Thalamus, it is the highly solvent parts and it is attached, or it is also known as the platform of the floral walls, depositions of the floral wall. These terms are called as the thalamus. And floral walls. Two type of the floral whorls are present. Four floral whorls are present, but the two it is the essential and two it is the non-essentials. Non-essential, they do not take part in a sexual reproduction. Mostly these non-essential whorls are protective functions. Mostly calyx and corolla, it is the non-essential whorls. And next it is the Androecium and Gynoecium, it is the essential whorls. Because Androecium, it is the male reproductive whorls, and Gynoecium, it is the female reproductive whorls of the flower, and they involve in a sexual reproduction. Hence, it is called as the essential whorls. Now, these lectures, this video are seen in a Androeciums. It is the male reproductive whorls or development of the male gametophytes. Now, see in a Androecium. Androecium, it is third essential whorls. It is the third innermost whorl of the flowers. First, calyx. Second, corolla. And third, it is the Androecium, like this diagram. This Androecium. It is, these are Androecium. It is the third. First, calyx, corolla, and next, third essential, innermost whorl of the flower. It is present inner to the corolla. It is the second corolla. And then next to the presence at the inner to the corolla. And calyx and corolla are protect the inner walls, mostly Androecium and Gynoeciums. They get mature and they get fertilized and produce the new offsprings or seeds. And seed after germinate, they are produce their new offsprings. This Androecium, it is the male reproductive whorls in flowers. Okay, then it is made of units called as the stamens. Like this. These single terms, these singulars. Okay. These single portions are called as the stamens. Or the group of stamens, these all stamens, the group of stamens is called as the Androeciums. This is the single point units. These units are called as the stamens. And the group of stamens is called as the Androeciums. The singular, these single units, is called as the stamens, or it is also known as the microsporophiles. These units are called as the stamens or microsporophiles. Okay. The next. The two type of the stamens are also present. It is the polyandrous stamens and cohesions of the stamen. Polyandrous. Poly means free. Androeciums or stamens. The stamens are free from each others. It is present in a flower. In each stamens are free, like this diagram. Okay, this diagram. These stamens are free from each others. Every stamens are free from each others. They get separate. These separate stamens are called as the polyandrous stamens. Example, gold mohurs. These flowers, the stamens are free. They do not fuse from each others. They get separate. Like these finger-like projection, these are free from each others. These stamens are called as the polyandrous stamens. Most of the gulmohar flowers are present the polyandrous stamens. Okay. Then next, second, it is the cohesions of the stamens. Cohesions of the stamens. The stamens are fused from each other like finger-like structures. It's single, it is the stamens, all in between flower. These stamens are attached or fused from each other. They do not separate from each others. This fuse from each others like these diagrams. All these diagrams. These stamens are attached from each other. It is also called as the cohesions of the stamens. These stamens filaments are attached. It is called as the cohesions of stamens. These stamens are attached like these. These 9 stamens are attached to each other, and it is the separate. Stamens are attached from each other. Is called as the cohesions of the stamens. Simple examples: China rose or hibiscus flowers, Hibiscus rosa sinensis. These flowers, stamens are united, fused from each others. It is called as the cohesions of the stamens. Okay, these two terms, polyandrous stamens and cohesions of the stamens. Polyandrous stamens, stamens are free, separate. It is called as the polyandrous stamens. And then next, it is the cohesions of the stamens. Cohesions, the stamens are fused from each other. Like these examples, 2 examples. First, polyandrous gulmohar, gold mohar. It is also known as the gold mohars. In Marathi, it is also known as the gulmohar. Okay. China rose. It is also known as the hibiscus flowers. In Marathi, jaswant. This is the example of the cohesions of the stamens. Polyandrous, stamens are free. Cohesions of the stamens are fused. Okay, then next. Okay, stamens. What is meant by stamen? Stamens, it is the are produced in 2 parts. They are divided into the 2 parts. Sorry, they are divided into the 3 parts. First, filaments, anther, and connective. The stamens are divided into the three parts like these diagrams. It is the stamens, singular, and the unit of the stamens, it is called as the Androeciums. These two view, dorsal view and ventral view. The stamens are divided into the three parts. First, it is the filaments. These are it is the filament. It is also known as the stalk of the stamens. It is called as the filament. These stalks are also called as the filaments. Second, it is the anther. It is the sterile part of the stamens. These parts are called as the anther. And the points are attachments in between filaments and anther. These points are called as the connective. This is the three part of the stamens. First, filament. It is the stalk of the anther. Second, anther. It is the fertile part. In between anther, male gametes are also present, like pollen grain or microspores are also present. And third, the points connect in between filaments and anther. It is called as the connective. Okay. Now, see now parts. Then stamens. The stamens are three parts: filaments, anther, and connective. Filament first. The basal, sterile, long, stalk-like part of the stamen is called as the filaments. These are it is the base of the stamens. Sterile, they do not involve in a take part in a sexual reproductions. And long, it may be present in a short. Some flower are present short and some flowers are present the long. And stalk-like part of the stamen. It is the stalk of the stamens. It is called as the filaments. Okay, these parts. It is called as the filaments. Then, main function of the filaments. It raises the anther above the level of the thalamus for act of pollinations. Because anther, it is the fertile part. They are involved in between anther, pollen grain, male gametes are present, and these male gametes are help to pollinations. Then filaments is long. It example, rise the anther above the level of the thalamus for act of the pollinations. Then filament is long. It is very easy for pollen grain are transfer anther to the stigma. Then filaments are long. That is for better dispersal of the pollen grain. Pollen grain are easily transferred anther to the stigma in depositions of the female gametoid, female gametes. Then filaments is long. Okay. Then next, anther. Anther, it is the fertile part. These parts are called as the anther. Okay. And then anther, it is the upper sac-like or knob-like fertile part. It is called as the anther. Because it is fertile part, they are involved in between anthers. Pollen grain are present. Pollen grain, it is the male gametes then, and these male gametes are involved in a sexual reproductions. Hence, They are fertile part of the stamens. Mostly, anther has two lobes or may have one lobes, like these structures. In between anthers are two lobes present and one lobe. Some flowers are developed the one lobes and some flowers are developed the two lobes, like these lobes. It is called as the lobes, these portions. It is the two lobe, these portions. Okay, one lobes and two lobes. Mostly, anther has two lobes or may have one lobes. Okay. Then type of the anthers. One lobes presents, it is also known as the monothecious anther. Two lobes presents, it is also called as the diathecious anthers, like these diagrams. It is the diathecious anther. Two lobes are present. In monothecious, only one lobes are present. It is also called as the monothecious anthers. Okay, next. The monothecious anther with one lobe is called as the monothecious anther. Only one lobes are present. And in between one lobes, two microsporangia present. Like this. In this, आतमध्ये दोन लोब्स प्रेझेंट असतील दोन लोब्स आता इथे दिसत आहेत फोर लोब्स दिसत आहेत पण वन लोब मोनोथिशियस ओनली वन लोब्स in between two microsporangia presents. Mostly example, China rose, cotton, or family Malvaceae. All group of the Malvaceae family are presents only one lobe of the anther. It is also called as the monothecious anthers, one lobes. एकच लोब्स प्रेझेंट्स आहे त्याच्यामध्ये आणि त्या एका लोब मध्ये टू मायक्रोस्पोरेंजिया आहेत ह्याच्यासारखे याच्यामध्ये जसे चार मायक्रोस्पोरेंजिया आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये फक्त दोन मायक्रोस्पोरेंजिया आहेत एक्झाम्पल चायना रोज कॉटन और family Malvaceae are presents the monothecious anther, only one lobes of anther, and in between one lobes, two microsporangia presents. It is called as the monothecious anther. And second, next, diathecious anther. Di means two, thecious means lobe. Anther with two lobes, it is called as the diathecious anthers. The two lobes in between four microsporangia, like these diagrams. In between anthers are two lobes present, and this it is called as the diathecious, and these two lobe in between four microsporangia are also present. म्हणजे दोन लोब मध्ये फोर मायक्रोस्पोरेंजिया आहेत. Microsporangia, it is also known as the pollen sac, depositions of the pollen grain. सॅक म्हणजे काय ह्या पोलन मायक्रोस्पोरेंजिया मध्ये मेल गॅमेट डिपॉझिट्स आहे पोलन ग्रेन्स आहेत इट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड ॲज द मायक्रोस्पोरेंजिया एक लोब असेल त्याच्यात दोन काय आहेत मायक्रोस्पोरेंजिया आहेत आणि टू लोब्स आहेत त्याच्यात किती आहेत चार मायक्रोस्पोरेंजिया आहेत hence it is also called as the diathecous anthers. Monothecious anther, one lobes and two microsporangia are present. Example in Malvaceae family. Diathecus anthers, 2 lobes present and 4 microsporingia are present. It is called as the diathecus. Example, gulmohors. Example काय आहे? Gulmohors आहे. It is the anther. Okay, then next. Like this. It is the monothecious, 2 microsporingia, and it is the diathecus, 4 microsporingia are also present. Each anther lobe has 2 chambers or sac. It is also called as the pollen sac or microsporingia. आपण आत्ताच पाहिलं पोलन सॅक कशाला म्हणणार आहोत, ज्याच्यामध्ये जे चेंबर्स आहेत, 1 लोब्स आहेत, 2 चेंबर्स आहेत, 2 लोब्स आहेत, 4 चेंबर्स आहेत. These chambers are called as the pollen sac or microsporangia. Like this diagram, ह्याच्यामध्ये स्पष्ट कळेल ह्या डायग्राम्स मध्ये. These chambers are called as the microsporangia or pollen sac. It is also called as the microsporangia or pollen sac. Okay. Then anther produce haploid pollen grain or microspore. In between pollen sac or microsporingia, they are developed the haploid pollen grain or microspore. These pollen grains are called as the male gametophytes. It is the male gametes in flowers. They are produced the haploid in between pollen sac or microsporangia. They are developed the pollen grains. And most of the anthers is bilobe. 2 lobes are also present. Maximum in flowers, anther are bilobes. Or tetrasporangia. Tetrasporangia means 4 chambers, 4 microsporangiates. Tetrasporangiates with 4 microsporangia. It is the maximum flowers are present bilobes. Okay. Then last part of the anther. It is the connective. The 2 lobes, simple definition. The point attachment in between filaments and anther, it is called as, these points are called as the connective. These 2 lobes of the anther are connected to each others by sterile, narrow strips of parenchymatous tissue. It is made up by parenchymatous tissue. It is called as the connective. It is sterile. It is not involved in a sexual reproduction. It is only support the anther and filaments. The connective are also connect anther lobes and filaments. And 2 lobes in between a small strips. It is the narrow strips. It is made up by parenchyma tissue. It is also called as the connective. Connective means दोन anther आणि filaments ला connect करणारा part. It is called as the filaments. Sorry, connective. Okay, it is the 3 parts of the anther. Okay, it is these lectures we have also seen Androecium. It is the innermost wall, inner to the corolla. It is the male reproductive walls, and the unit of the Androecium, it is called as the stamen, or commonly known as the group of stamens. It is called as the Androecium, and the singular, it is also known as the stamen. 2 types of the stamens are also present: polyandrous stamens and cohesions of the polyandrous. The stamens are free from each other. It is called as the polyandrous. Cohesions, they are fused from each other, attached from each other. It is called as the cohesions of the stamens. Polyandrous example, gold mohair, and cohesions of the example, China rose. Then stamens, they are divided into three parts: anther, filaments, anther, and connective. Filament, it is also called as the sterile basals, long stalk-like part of the stamen. It is called as the anther, and it is help for better dispersion of the pollen grain because anther are above the level of the thalamus with the help of pollinations. Then filaments, it is long. Some flowers are filaments, it is very short. Anther, upper sac-like, node-like fertile parts, it is also called as the anther. These anther are also present two lobes or one lobes. In this type of the anther, two type. Only one lobes are present, it is the monoecious anther. Example, Malvaceae family, mostly China rose, cotton, it belongs to the Malvaceae family. Diathecious anthers, anther with two lobes. In between, four chambers or four microsporin, and one lobes, it is two microsporin, yeah, two chambers. Okay. And in between pollen sac, two chambers are also called as the, or four chambers are also called as the pollen sac or microsporangia. In between pollen sacs are pollen grain present. It is the also known as the microspore. And most of the flower anthers are bilobe and tetrasporangiates. And last, it is the connective. The anther and filaments are connect to each other with the help of connective. It is the parenchyma tissues. It is the narrow stapes. And it is the sterile. Two lobes are also connect to each other with the help of connective. It is not involved in a sexual part. It is the sterile part of the stamens. Okay, then next video we will see in a TS of anther. Exact what is the anther and between present the pollen grain are also studied. Okay, now this video are stop here.